Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Extra Lap Podcast. Today, we're lucky enough to have with us Villanova's very own Liam Murphy. Liam, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. So, Liam, bring me back a little to your high school days, but, class of 2020, obviously COVID came around. So, how did that impact like your training and everything?
Yeah, that was definitely tough. Just like with everything going on, I figured I felt like during that winter season, I was in the best shape of my high school career at the point. So that was definitely tough. Just seeing all that unfold and just everything that happened during that time period. It really came in like so fast. I finished a state meet, and then like 4 or 5 days later, like everything was shut down. So, I mean, at that time, I was getting ready for the New Balance Nationals indoor, and then all that took place. So that was really devastating. And then there's a lot of uncertainty during that time. No one really knew what was going to happen. And then I think like slowly, like more stuff got canceled. And then like we found out the spring season was going to happen. So that was definitely really tough. I mean, yeah. So I really lost a lot of momentum. I felt like everything I was building for that last season in high school, I'm sure just about for everyone else too, that was a senior in that class, was just taken away from us. So
Mhm.
that was definitely really tough for me. I just feel like I lost a lot of momentum, a lot of passion, love for the sport. And yeah, it was definitely hard too, right, going into college. So it was hard to like split away from high school like that, and just with my high school coach. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of uncertainty, and I'd say overall, it really killed my passion for the sport during that time, and it took a while to find that and get that back. But yeah, I mean, I was able to get it back eventually.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I don't use the term running hopelessly, but like, probably you obviously had to run during the spring and was kind of weird. Like, are you going towards high school thinking that the season might resume, or college is around the corner? Are you starting base training for cross, or how did that work?
Yeah, I mean, my like during the time, I guess I was still like considered in high school, so I didn't really like my college coach just said just still listen to your high school coach and whatever he says. And then like in the summer, I guess we'll take it from there. So
Mhm.
during that time, my high school coach said I think you should keep running, just in case there actually is a spring season, or just in case like at the end of like June there might be a meet or something. So you
Mhm.
want to be ready for that in case that comes. But yeah, I don't know. It was just really tough for me. I couldn't really find like a lot of motivation to go out and run because I figured just like there's really nothing to look forward to. And I kind of knew I probably would have redshirted my freshman year of college. So there was a really long time just thinking about like I probably would not be racing for a really long time. And it was definitely really challenging. I think I definitely lost, like I said, a lot of love for the sport. And I think it definitely really showed during that time period. I was skipping a lot of runs. I don't
Yeah.
even know if my college coach was aware of that, but yeah, no, I definitely was not into running during that time. It was just really hard, and it took a while to get it back, and then when I started talking, in the summer, and then when I started talking to my college coaches, and I started getting training from them, then it was a little better. But like same thing, it was just hard, because then when I went right to that redshirt season, again, not really much to look forward to in running. So it was just a lot of training, and I think the best part about running for everyone is racing, being able to see like what you could do on the race in a race environment and like what you're building up for. So that was really hard for me. And I think like mostly I like thrive off the competition I get from like races and stuff like that. So not having any of that was definitely like a really big adjustment for me. And I guess I really just had to find like new like passions and goals in the sport. But it took me a while to find, but eventually I got there.
Yeah, definitely. And like, you know, trying to find the love back for the sport, like, how did you find it again? Because once you go down that hole, it's sometimes hard to get it back.
Yeah, no, it's definitely really tough to get it back. Yeah, and I think it definitely showed. Because like my freshman year at college, I didn't really run because I redshirted, so it was just like I did like just some fun races locally for fun.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, it wasn't like really anything serious. So if I ran a bad race at one of those, it wasn't really like looked at or like evaluated too much. But and then I guess going into my sophomore year when I started racing, I ran cross country and then winter and outdoor. So I ran the full year.
Mhm.
But I guess I'd still say during that year, like my passion for running really wasn't there. I think like it just carried over from my freshman year and during that pandemic because I really just lost a lot of love for the sport. And yeah, I figured I really felt like when I was in high school, I worked so hard to get to college, and like that was my biggest goal to get like a good scholarship, go to a good school. And like once I was finally there, it kind of felt like I had like completed what I was looking for.
Hmm.
So I think definitely like with that in mind and just everything with the pandemic, it really like put me in a bad place just with like what goals I was looking for. So I definitely think I mean but yeah, my sophomore year was pretty rough for me. Just like all my running definitely did not go the way I wanted to. And I had a bunch of coaches, a bunch of talks with my coaches about that during that year. They were just saying like you're not racing the way you're supposed to be. Like we think you're a lot better the way we're recruiting you in high school. Like we were expecting a lot more. Just all that. So that was definitely that took a like a I went into account a lot when I started really evaluating what I wanted to get from the sport and what my goals were. But I'd say probably around like the summer of my sophomore year or the end of my sophomore year was that was like when I really just started like sit down and had a conversation with myself and just really ask myself what I wanted to get out of the sport, like what my goals were, what I wanted to what like the athlete I wanted to become and like how serious I wanted to take the sport, and like I found out that like I really wanted to be good. So I think that summer was a really big changing point for me because I just really wanted to like be good and go all in on it.
Yeah, definitely. And like even outside of running, as you said, like, you made it to a great college program on scholarship, right? And you worked 4 years of high school for that. So like what would you give advice to anyone who just has been working years and years and hours for a goal and like they finally get in, it's like, what's next? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to have other goals too, in
Mhm.
your mind. Because I mean, yeah, that was like the biggest one for me, obviously. And then once I got it, it kind of felt like I reached like that peak. But I think like after that, the next thing I looked forward to was breaking four.
Mhm.
And I was able to do that my freshman year, which was really cool. But then I also felt like once that happened, I kind of lost motivation again. I figured like that was like what I was building up for the most. And then once that happened in the spring season, I kind of just really lost motivation again. But yeah, I'd say the biggest thing really is just finding out like why you're in the sport and why like what you want to get out of it. I think it shouldn't all be like just on results. I think there should be a purpose for you for why you do it. So I
Mhm.
think that definitely helped me too. Once I figured that out, that I just wanted to get like better every day at something. If it wasn't running or something else, if I would have pursued something else, but I think that's the biggest thing that people should look at.
Yeah, definitely. And like just always looking for new goals and like always moving forward and everything. And like,
Definitely. Yeah.
looking at your running career, you said you broke four in the mile. You're a 3:55 guy in the mile, like, a 13:21 guy in the 5K. You ran that recently. So like, as a more upper distance guy, how do you go about getting speed for something like the mile?
Yeah. I think it could definitely be looked at like differently from many different coaching like perspectives. I
Hmm.
think my coach though, however, like we focus a lot on just having like strength, like aerobic strength, and that's like really the biggest thing.
Hmm.
That's where he feels like the speed comes from. He thinks like if you have a good aerobic base, you'll be able to like push yourself throughout the race, and like in the closing lap when you need it. So yeah, I think that's like what we focus on at Nova, but I'd say, yeah, I mean, honestly, just like going at it every day of your aerobic strength, I think that's really what like plays the biggest part for me because I feel like when I'm aerobically fit in the race, I'm able to carry myself towards the end and I have like a little more in my legs compared to if I wasn't as aerobically fit. So I think that's probably the most like the biggest thing for me. I know a lot of other programs they focus on doing a lot of speed work and stuff like that, which that could definitely work as well too. But I figured like for us, it's more aerobic strength that gets us to where we need to be at the end of the race.
Definitely, and just building up that running economy, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so what does like the average week at Villanova look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, everyone on the team is like differently, when like where their mileage is at and stuff like that. But for me personally, during cross country, I was doing like 80 to 85 miles a week. So
Mhm.
that's kind of where I was at. And then in track, I'll probably go down to like maybe like 70, 75. Right now, I'm still up a little bit because I might do the 5K at nationals or so. I might have to stay up my mileage a little bit for that. But I mean, average week, we started this year we started doing a lot of like double workouts. So in the morning, we'll do a little bit of, I mean, most of our training is based on like heart rate zones, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
we all have our heart rate zones. So in the morning, we'll do a little bit of like our lower heart rate zone. So it'll be like 4 by 5 minutes in the morning on the turf, but most of the guys are doing that. So we'll do that Tuesdays and Fridays mostly. And then we'll come back in the afternoon for another workout if that's like 6 by mile, 8 by mile, or a track workout. So that's
Mhm.
kind of like what our days look like, or what like the week of workouts look like. And then we'll have a standard long run Sunday, and then a lift pretty much on our own. But like he gives us a plan to follow, and then it's kind of just up to us. But personally, I do like Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's like kind of what a brief overview of what my week looks like.
Definitely. And does Nova have like a staple go-to workout or it's kind of
Yeah, I'd say during this cross country season, I think like maybe like just about every single Friday we did 8 by mile. It kind of really changes though. I feel like my coaches get fixated on like one workout for a while, but I mean this winter we were this fall we were doing 8 by mile every Friday,
Mhm.
and at same spot, same place, everything. But I figured I felt like it helped me a lot. And I kind of like having just like a routine of workouts. I think
Mhm.
that definitely helped us a lot. We gained a lot of like aerobic strength out of that. So I enjoy doing that, and it's a workout. Like I enjoy doing miles. So I figured like that's a big staple for us, and I think it worked well.
Definitely. And you're coming off a great fall season. You went to NCAAs. So like how do you plan for championship racing like that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely I think a big thing for us is like we went to meets like Nuttycombe and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And then we did like the Virginia Challenge earlier in the year. And those races are really like some of the best teams in the country come to that. So I think going to races like that early on definitely sets you up for later on in the year, because it really is like a championship race environment, because there's just so much talent there, and like the teams that go, and like just the race in general, it's really competitive. So I definitely think that that's a good sneak peek at what championship races will look like later on. But for me, I think it's more important that I just focus on like the races I have earlier in the year, to focus on those, and then once I get closer to championship season, then start kind of looking at that. But I mean, for me personally, I don't think much changes. I think it just comes from doing like all the work I'm supposed to leading up to that, and then once I'm doing all that, and I know I'm like making sacrifices to be in the spot I need to be for championships like racing, and I like putting all the mileage for that. That's what like really gets me like ready for
Mhm.
that part of the year.
Yeah, definitely. And can you bring us like through the NCAAs itself? I mean, looking at it from our perspective, it just looks like, chaos, like the stars, 200 people, 300 people, whatever. So like, what is it like just in there?
Yeah, that race, it's crazy, man. There's like really nothing like that race, with just how many guys are in there. It's just so talented. There's like probably 100 guys that could all be all American on that given day. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's really a crazy environment, because there's just so many people around you, like constantly the whole time. And if you're feeling a little bit off, or you fall back for like 2, 3 seconds, you'll probably lose like 15, 20 spots, with just how many guys are around you. So I,
Mhm.
I definitely think last year's my first year doing that cross country nationals at Oklahoma. I definitely think that was a big part for me coming into this one. Just having that experience in that race, just with that many teams and that environment. But I think the biggest thing for me this year was just going out a lot faster and harder. I think because I felt like last year at Oklahoma, I went out at around like 80th or 90th. Not even that I wanted to, I just really could not get out any faster, because it just goes out so fast, and I couldn't really get up there in the beginning. And I felt like once I settled in around like 80 or 90, I thought I'd work my way up towards the end, but like everyone's just in such good shape, and they're in such a good spot for that race, that I really couldn't like move my way up in that race. So I think going into this year, it was really big for me that I wanted to get out really hard, and put myself in that race, and then just try to hold on for as long as I could. So it went out really fast, and the first K was like
Yeah.
2:10 or something like that. 2:30. No, something like that. Maybe
It
two.
was it was like it was under 4 flat pace.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
something crazy fast. I mean, yeah, and then at that point, it's just like such a shock, like you realize you have like 9K to go. So yeah, it's like it's a tough spot to be in when you realize how fast it's going out and how many guys are around you. But I think you got to just trust yourself, that like all the work you put into that point. And yeah, I think a big part of that, I saw my teammate, because I was probably getting ready to settle in around to like 40th place, 40, 50th place, and I
Mhm.
wanted to be a little bit higher. But at that point in the race, I was already feeling like I was hurting a little bit, so I was kind of getting ready to settle. But then I saw my teammate have to. He was like pushing up there, so Yeah, when I saw him, I've been racing and doing workouts with him all year long, and I saw him push into the front, so I just went with him. So I
Hmm.
definitely think that was a really big part for me in like how I did, because I made like that move with him going up to the front, and I definitely think that helped me get out a lot better. And I figured like once I was in a spot from there, like a good spot I liked, I just try to hold on. I just like try to hold on as best as I could from
Yeah,
there the rest of
yeah,
the race.
definitely. And like, NCAA is obviously a 10K. So like, how do you stay focused? You said yourself, you lose focus 2, 3 seconds and that's 15 spots. So like, how do you stay just locked for all
Yeah,
10?
no, it's definitely a crazy environment. There was so many people there too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's like it's just so loud. Everyone's cheering you on throughout the whole race. So that was definitely really cool. Just staying motivated. But yeah, I think I was just listening to my coaches. They did a good job just moving around the course and different spot to spot. So I was just trying to listen to them, like hear what they had to say, and just told me to relax and just stay focused on where I was at. And I was probably I'd say I was probably in like the second group, like the chase pack that was following the first group. So
Hmm.
that was a good group I was in. So I was able to work with them and just try to stay off them and work together with those guys. Because I mean, once you fall back and you're in a little bit of like no man's land, when the
Yeah.
race breaks out later, it was really hard for those guys to try to keep up. It was pretty windy that day too, so I was able to tuck in and just try to stay as best I can on the guys that I was in the group with.
Definitely. And like, during the race this year, did you take like during the race, do you think about the Oklahoma experiences? Like, you said you had to go out faster. Like, did you think about that during the race, or was it just like, this is a new situation, new thing, or do you take, the passing?
I definitely would say that that experience at Oklahoma like helped me a lot. Just knowing like how I needed to get out, and just talking to my coaches and teammates beforehand. Like the older guys that have been in those races more than I have, pretty much said the same thing. It's just really important to get out as best as you can, because once it like settles, and if you're in the back at a spot you don't want, it's gonna be really hard to push up just with how fit everyone is. And like if you're not in like a good contention to push up to that front pack, like it's gonna be really hard to catch them. So I definitely think with that in mind, it like helped me a lot just getting out and what I wanted to focus on at the beginning of that race.
Yeah, definitely. And like as you said, there's 100 guys who can go out there on any given day and get All American. So like, you know, you were a top fell like guy going into it. So how does that make you like? How do you feel going into a race knowing there's all those guys just gunning for spots?
I'd say probably the biggest thing is kind of just wanting to focus on like what your task is. I mean, yeah, you can't really worry about how many guys in the race, because I feel like that would just add more stress and pressure than you need to. But I mean, yeah, no, it's crazy being in a race with that many people, knowing how many like guys could actually really get All American when you're also going for that spot as well. So I
Hmm.
definitely think for me though, the biggest thing was just focusing on the race I had to run, like the plan I wanted to do, plan I wanted to like execute with my teammates. So I think that was the biggest thing for us, and just not worrying about like the other guys in the race is really the biggest thing.
Yeah, definitely. And Liam, the question of the week, breakfast or dinner?
I'd say breakfast. Yeah, more of a
Really?
breakfast guy. Yeah.
What's a go-to at breakfast?
Ooh, if it's the day of a race, I'll probably eat like eggs, bagel, maybe a little fruit. But if like not a day of the race, just hanging out in the dining hall, whatever, I'll probably eat like an omelet, cereal, um, yeah, maybe yogurt, something like that. But I mean, yeah, I like so many options. I think there's so many different ways you can go with it.
Yeah, definitely. And like, what do you do outside of running? Like, what's the hobbies looking like outside of running?
I mean, when I'm at school, I really just enjoy hanging out with my teammates. Like we're just messing around with those guys, just hanging out at a dorm all together. Yeah, just hanging out with them, hanging out in the dining hall. I think we spent a lot, like a long time in the dining hall, just wasting time talking. So that's really cool. It's a cool like
Hmm.
environment to be around with those guys, being at school. So I'd say just hanging out with those guys, and
Hmm.
that's pretty much like what takes up most of my time between like school and academics. It's just hanging out with them.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're doing one sport outside of running, what would it be?
Like to do professionally.
Like if you weren't a runner, what sport do you think you would be best in?
I'd
Like,
say soccer. Yeah, I did a
soccer.
lot of that growing up. I played like to my sophomore year and then of high school, and then when I decided to run, I gave that up. So I'd probably say that I had like the most fun in doing that.
Yeah, definitely. And like, is there any particular advice you would want to give a runner? Like,
I'd say yeah. For high schoolers, I think it's important just to enjoy the process. I think there's a lot of times where there'll be a lot of moments where things don't go your way, and like the future might seem uncertain. But I think the biggest thing is just to enjoy it as much as you can. Yeah, if you put in a decent effort every single day, trying to get better, like an honest effort of trying to get better every day, I think eventually it's going to pay off no matter what. So yeah, if you're doing it every day and you're stacking those days and then you're stacking weeks, months, like eventually it's definitely going to pay off. You might have a couple bad races and you feel like it might not pay off anytime soon, but eventually like you'll get there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And we went to the people for some questions, and they always come through. And their first question, big question, a little deep. Do you play Fortnite? This is like,
I know one of my teammates asked that, but yeah, I usually play with like my roommates or kids in the team. That's like what we'll do like before we go to bed, which is fun. Yeah, I enjoy playing when they brought the OG map back. That was a lot of fun.
OG,
But
man.
yeah, I usually play with them.
Definitely. How many kills you drop during Fortnite? Like, what's the average looking like?
Maybe like five. I'm all right. Some
Right.
guys team a lot better than me,
Are,
but
are you like
I'd say I'm average.
a Fortnite role player kind of? You know, you help out.
Yeah, yeah, I'd probably say so. Yeah.
Is Nova like a big Fortnite school, or is it just like your
Like
school?
just like kids in my team playing it.
Yeah.
I'd say there's a good amount of us who play. Yeah,
Really?
I'd say so. Yeah, it comes in like waves. Like
Yeah.
we'll play for a little bit, then we take a break, and then we'll get back on it. But right now we're pretty into it. Especially my roommates, they love it.
And is there like a team game? Like you guys rolling Clash or like
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that was another question. I think one of my teammates put that in. But yeah, I would say usually it's usually around cross country time, like when we're all so I think we do a lot of traveling early on in the year with just the meets. So like, a lot of times we're on like we like this year we drove to Virginia, which is like a 5 hour drive. We actually twice. We did that for nationals in the Virginia Challenge earlier in the year. So we
Mhm.
had a lot of time on the bus, and a lot of us just like were playing that. It's like a kind of tradition, honestly. I feel like now that during the cross country season, like we all get into it, and then it usually dies by the winter time, and then like we'll stop playing and we wait to like next cross country. But right now it's still going pretty strong. Like we're all still playing, which is a little surprising. But yeah, that's a big one right now.
Definitely. And Royale or Clans?
Royale, yeah.
Big
No,
Royale guy. What can
yeah.
what arena are you in? If we may know.
I don't know which one what number it is, but I think I have like 6,850 trophies right now.
Oh,
So
jeez. Real.
yeah, decent amount. Some guys, I think someone on my team might have a little more than me, but no, it's fun. We've been playing a lot recently, which is
Mhm.
surprising though, because I thought the wave would have died out by now, but
No.
it's still going
Clash
strong.
Clash always rolls strong until like
Yeah.
it doesn't, and then it's just gone for a little bit. But then it comes back.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
It's like Minecraft. That's like a phase everyone goes through for
Bro,
a little.
Minecraft, if you don't, I swear, everyone rips like 1 or 2 weeks of Minecraft a year. And it's like the
Yeah,
most
that's what
hard.
it is. It's like a 1 to 2 week phase usually, and then it
Yeah,
just dies out. But this we're going strong right now.
definitely. And this is an actual serious question, but what's the toughest moment so far in your running career?
I definitely probably would say my like that stretch from like that when the pandemic happened to like
Mhm.
my sophomore year probably just when I couldn't really find like a motivation or a purpose like passion for running again. That was really tough for me. So I'd say that period of time. And there was like a bunch of like at my sophomore year there was a big stretch of like during that period a lot of races I had where things were just really not going my way and I just really did not feel like the sport was for me anymore. So I'd say during that time period was really tough, and probably like the hardest part as a runner for me.
Yeah. And do you rip ice baths or like what's a recovery process look like for you?
Yeah, I do that. I try to do them in the winter though, because I did one in the winter last year, and then unless I sometimes I know you're not supposed to finish on hot because some people say it like reverses the effects, like because there's a hot next to us. But I did like an ice bath in the winter
Mhm.
last year, and I like when I walked outside when I was walking to the dining hall, it was cold outside. I felt like instantly sick, so I kind of stay away from doing ice baths in the wintertime. But I like doing those in like when it's hot out in the summer or spring. So I'll do that. I do like the boots,
Mhm.
electric stim. You ever heard of that? Where like the
Yeah, like the fireflies.
yeah, I think ours is it's not fire. The firefly goes around like your knee, but it's like the same concept.
Yeah.
Like the shock stuff, the shock therapy. So I'll do that too, and then just going to my trainers too. They're great on like what like give me the treatment I asked for. So that's a big part too. They like do their job really well. So if I have to go in there with like any issues or anything like that, that helps a lot. So I usually go in there for like scraping. That's what I'll get done on like my quads, which it hurts a lot, but it works.
Yeah, I feel like at least with the Fireflies, which might be totally different though, but like the first shock is just like, bro, what am I doing? Like
Yeah, I used to
all these
hate that. I
systems.
used to like never would consider doing that. And then I went like last winter on a trip to Boston, I think, for a race, but like just a couple of us were running, so we didn't take usually the trainers will come with us and
Yeah,
they'll bring like all the equipment. They'll bring like the boots, like the pressure boots, those air
yeah,
pressure
the
boots.
Normatex.
Yeah, Normatex. Yeah, they usually bring those and like everything else, and they're usually will be there for treatment. But during that race, they didn't come because it was a smaller race. Only like two or three of us went.
Mhm.
And the only thing they gave us to bring was that stim, and I got my legs didn't really feel that good the day before, like the night before the race. So I
Mhm.
threw those on for the first time, and I kind of liked it. But I've been good using it ever since then. But before that, I didn't really that kind of scared me like that shock therapy. I like didn't really like the way that feels. I put some of my team had like an NIL a couple years ago with that Firefly, and I put it on my knee. I just did not like it at all.
Yeah, I feel like obviously you feel like on the IT band and everything, but it just feels so weird.
Yeah, no, it hurts. I'd say it works though for sure,
Mhm.
but it takes some the time to get used to.
Yeah, and what are your upcoming goals for the next few season? Like this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think hopefully that 1321 I ran at Boston will like stay and I'll qualify for nationals with that. So hopefully I got that out of the way. And then I think I'll be doing like I'll try to do a 3K or something like that to try to get a 3K qualifying in for potentially nationals too to run both. And
Mhm.
then I want to run a mile too. Hopefully get a fast time in to try to lower my PR there. So
Mhm.
I'd say those are like my two or three like immediate goals that are coming up like the fastest. But then from there, I'd probably just say just try to be all American again and the 3K or 5K, whatever like I choose to do, a mile at indoor nationals.
Mhm.
Help my team at Big East indoor. That's always a fun meet to do. And then outdoor, I'd say like Penn relays again, try to win that. Big East outdoor,
Yeah.
national stuff like that, regionals, yeah. But I mean, for right now, I kind of just like to focus on what I have at hand, and I think that might be like a mile at Penn State in like a month from now, a couple weeks. So
Mhm.
I'll start looking forward to that.
Yeah, and as you said, the 1321 at Boston, right? When you tell that line, I mean, it was just, you got Parker, Kai, Graham. So what was that like? Just going through that?
Yeah, it's another crazy race when you like how many guys are that talented in the race, and it's just like it's going to be a crazy fast pace right from the beginning. But I think going to meets like Nuttycombe, like being at NCAAs, regionals and cross country, all those races. I mean, you're racing those guys all the time. It's like the best of the best. So I think being at races like that, it definitely gets you used to it. So feel like I'm more accustomed to being on that line. But I mean, it's still a crazy feeling just knowing how talented that race is and how many guys are like looking to run like a crazy fast time.
Mhm.
So I definitely think it can be a little overwhelming, when it's the lines that packed and like that many good guys are in it, especially with pros too. But I mean for me, again, like you just gotta focus on the race you have to run. So I mean like the biggest thing for me was just sticking myself in as best as I could on the rail and just working from there and just trying to hang on for the best as I could.
Definitely. And the last question, I don't even know what this means, but it's probably one of your old boys, but they
Oh
asked
man.
they asked about milestone soccer days. So
Oh, Millstone?
yeah.
Is that what it said? Millstone?
Yeah. You,
Oh yeah. That was yeah, that I mean that like I said, I grew up playing soccer like for so many years. I think I started playing in like second or third grade, all the way until like my sophomore year of high school. And that's like that was a local team we did.
yeah.
So like that's like pretty much where all my best friends came from too, growing up. Like we all played soccer together. So that was like a really special time. Yeah, no, that was really cool. I think that's probably where like my competitive edge for just sports started back then, just playing soccer with them. And yeah, I made some really good friends and memories during those times. So that was definitely really special.
Yeah, definitely. And one more bonus question, but What is Devin Comer's nickname? We'll go with that.
Devin Comer's nickname?
Yeah.
Oh man, I probably shouldn't say that on here.
Word.
I shouldn't say that. Yeah.
Real.
Yeah, I should probably leave that one off.
All
I'm
right.
sure my coach will get mad at me for that, or he will. So I probably
No,
shouldn't say
all good,
it.
all good. Well, Liam, thank you so much for hopping on though. It was great to have you. And thank you everyone for watching. Till our next lap together. See ya.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.